Track and field dominate with a weekend of personal and school record setting. Hello, I'm Jake Smolinski.
And I'm Brendan Rigney. It's been a long season for basketball, but with their toughest games behind them, will they find success soon? You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics SportsLine. Welcome to SportsLine. Tight show for you folks. Kelly Montana is on for exploring headlines this week, and later, Isaac Perry gives you his pick for the marquee matchup.
And right before the women's basketball team took on UMass at the Gola, I got the chance to interview junior point guard Jasmine Alston, who predicted the future on this week's episode of On the Sidelines. But first, let's take a look at what went down this past week for our athletes. It was a weekend of sophomore successes for the men's track and field team as they traveled to Yale University to compete at the Gagengak Invitational. Sophomore Justin Guerre celebrated another victory, winning the 60-meter with a time of 6.9 seconds and tying a school record in the process. Fellow sophomore Chris Sanders won the 800-meter event, clocking in with the top time of 1 minute and 52.1 seconds. Finally, in a 1.96-meter high jump, sophomore Kevin Worthington won the event to take first place in a field of 6 competitors.
The women also saw success at Yale. On day one, freshman Megan Connell won the 5,000 meter and the fastest time of any explorer this season. Kalia Miller continued her field event success by taking second place with a long jump of 5.36 meters. Long distance runner Rebecca Scardelletti smashed her previous record for the mile, placing fourth in 5 minutes and 1 second. On day two, Amber Jenkins won the 400 meters in her best time to date of 59.47 seconds. And not to be outdone, senior Kate Conville beat her own record after taking second place in the 1,000 meter in 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Rising star Ariel Mitchell ran the 60-meter race in 7.63 seconds, a second place and personal best finish.
Now, huge news here on SportsLine. Men's tennis finally managed to find success on the road as they took on St. Peter's on the 7th. Oh, finally a win. And the 5-2 win is the first of the season. So anyway, we had sophomore Joseph Diorio winning the singles match to put the Explorers on the board. And then for doubles, Mark Robinson and Meredith Christian beat St. Peter's Ivanov and Rusado 6-4. And sophomores Diorio and Liam Rodriguez teamed up for a second win. And Lane Bangus and Brian Gudici went for a three-peat doubles victory, and the men have a week off before they return to the court on the 28th to verse Colgate.
The women's basketball team continued their A-10 play on Sunday, February 7th against VCU at the Tom Gola Arena. The Rams entered the game heavily favored, but the Explorers were determined to snap their 10-game losing streak. LaSalle got off to a great start, getting on the board first and managing to never trail once in the entire first half. Heading into quarter three, the blue and gold were ahead, but struggled to maintain the lead in the third frame and fell behind into the fourth quarter. Trailing by 9, the Explorers rallied back and tied the game at 69 with a Micaiah Owens three-pointer with less than 20 seconds to play. In overtime, the Rams kept the pressure on, putting up 4 straight points to start the period and never relinquishing the lead en route to an 84-76 win over LaSalle.
And the team returned home on Wednesday, February 10th to host the Minutewomen of University of Massachusetts, hoping to avenge their tough loss to VCU just 3 days prior. And the Explorers brought a full-strength lineup to the court for the first time in several games, and LaSalle got off to a very hot start, once again maintaining a lead throughout the first half. This time, LaSalle would continue to dominate in half number 2. The third quarter was easily the team's strongest, putting up 18 points. And then in the fourth, UMass pulled to within 5 down the stretch, but the Explorers stymied the comeback when freshman Andriana Miller hit a 3 with 55 seconds left to seal the win. So after leading for a total of 39 minutes and 25 seconds, LaSalle's 66-57 win marked their first win at the goal this year and snapped their 11-game losing skid, thank God.
Well, the skid continues for the men's basketball team following a tough loss on the road against Davidson. Despite an impressive 20-point performance by Yevgen Sokniak, in his 23 minutes of action, the Explorers failed to keep up with the top-ranked A-10 offense of Davidson. However, LaSalle managed to subdue the Wildcats' Jack Gibbs, who was averaging 25 points per game until the contest with LaSalle. The combined efforts of Johnny Schuler and Tony Washington kept Gibbs to only 8 points the whole game. But while they were keeping Gibbs under tabs, shooter Brian Sullivan sat beyond the arc, nailing threes, and LaSalle's lack of depth really started to show as the Wildcats ran away with the game 79-66.
And this takes us over to LaSalle fighting their way through a loss against Rhode Island on February 6th. Final score 76-62 Rhode Island, and Price was honored for 1,000 career points tied at the half. 29, but at the half it was tied 29-29, and once again we got to see some really tough play. So over here we have the game with Rhode Island. Honestly, it was a tough one. Garrett, with the face mask and all, really dominated the game, scoring 25 points altogether, really leading the team. And Rhode Island had some serious, strong defense. I mean, we had Schuler attempting to, get through the line, but as you can kind of see here, no matter how hard they were jockeying for position, it really threw us for a loop playing against Rhode Island's just full out, just their domination. I mean, heck, here we got Price going for an attempt, just pretty sloppy to tap it in. Finally, we got, it's just tough when you're seeing all this stuff going on. I mean, you got Price, he goes up for it, sloppy attempt, and just Rohan, really putting in the struggle to try to regain momentum. But Rhode Island's team really outsized us, outplayed us, and really just threw us around. I mean, this is the only really solid point of the game. I mean, you had Johnny Schuler thrown in just at least an athletic attempt, but with a loss like 79-62, not looking good for men's basketball.
The size issue has been something that's been plaguing the basketball team all season. Thanks for the recap, Jake. Yeah. Now here to give us the headlines for this week, Miss Callie Montana. Callie, take it away.
All right, let's get to it. LaSalle has a long-standing history of supporting athletes off the field as equally as on it. True to form, the athletic department hosted its annual student-athlete networking night on February 3rd. Explorers of all sports had the opportunity to meet and speak to potential future employees, companies in attendance, including Pearl Vision, Mutual Omaha, and NovaCare, and the Franklin Institute. Now, as a lacrosse team prepares itself for the impending season, the 2016 preseason poll in the Explorers have been evaluated from just about every angle and were projected to finish in 5th place in the A10 this year. LaSalle finished in the same spot last season, ending 20-15 with an 8-8 record to narrowly miss the conference championships.
Well, wow. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back. Oh, no.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
What was going on there? I don't know. Well, welcome back. Thank you to Callie for coming on and giving us the exploring headlines. But Anyway, this week's On the Sidelines gave us the chance to talk to one of LaSalle's top women players, and after the graduation of some of LaSalle's absolute stars, Jasmine, such as Cropper and Indigo Dickens, Jasmine also ended up stepping into leadership roles that she never anticipated. So check it out.
Okay, my name is Jasmine. I'm on the women's basketball team, and I am the point guard.
Ever since freshman year, Jasmine Alston has been a constant presence on the LaSalle women's basketball team. However, this year marks a bit of a transition as Alicia Cropper and Indigo Dickens graduated at the end of last season. So this puts Jasmine in a bit of a tough situation.
Well, it's actually been a humongous adjustment. I went from being, just like a sophomore, freshman, playing under, really big scorers, big leaders, and by them leaving, it just put a lot more pressure on me, and just a lot more, responsibility. I used to just get away with turning the ball over, not really hustling, maybe walking around, but now just knowing that I had to step up because I'm a junior now, I'm about to be gone, that I need to set a good example so this program can prosper. So that's me by me working hard in practice every day, me, talking even when I'm mad or not getting in myself and not being selfish. Just basic things that I didn't really think of that they did, that my responsibility has grew since I'm leaving.
Now, this has been a bit of an up and down season. However, LaSalle women's basketball does not seem to be backing down yet.
Before the season, we actually had really high hopes. We thought we had a good unit. Everything was getting on really good, really cohesive and everything. But once the season started, we saw that it was a little more harder than what we anticipated. We started off really rocky. We lost the first 6 straight, and then we got a couple wins. Now we haven't won since. We have sparks where we see the potential that we have, and then we just lose it. It's like a quick span of us being in a game to us being out of a game. Besides me and Micaiah, well, my junior class, the team was kind of young. None of them really have that much experience. They've been playing under me, Micaiah, Crob, Chris, people that graduated for a couple years now. So their responsibility has grown, and it's kind of hard adjustment that I can tell. It's we can't play that many people because the flow of the game and everything's just it's a little bit harder for people. So we're just trying to get into the swing of things, really.
Now, to bring things back a bit, Jasmine's history with basketball goes back to the AAU leagues back in her hometown.
Well, I'm originally from Queens, New York. I went to high school in Brooklyn, so I'm just a city kid, just going everywhere, taking a train places. That's why I don't even have my license now. I'm used to just taking a train everywhere. I'm a real basketball geek. I like to go to games all the time when I was home. I just love being from the city, and I like going to another city. It's cool here, but I think I like New York better.
And in terms of her journey to LaSalle, ever since high school, Coach Williams knew that she'd be a great fit for the program.
Well, since I was about maybe a sophomore, Coach Williams had his eye on me. He would come to all my AAU games. He would watch me before the games, after the games. I could just see him wherever I was. And I just saw he really took a lot of notice to me, and I took notice of him, obviously. When I came on my visit here, it was really family-like. Cropper, she's also from New York. She was my host, so me and her bonded really quickly. And I just felt it wasn't that far from home that I felt I couldn't go home when I want to, but it was close enough that I know my family can come down, and I didn't feel I was so close my mom could pop up on me anytime she wanted to.
And as LaSalle women's basketball starts to wrap up its season, they're looking for an upset in the classic LaSalle style.
Well, right now, we're sort of at the bottom of the A10, and we have about maybe, I think, 6 or 7 more conference games left. And we're hoping just, take one at a time, try to win the next couple that we have. Then we go into conference play. We want to make an upset. We've done it. We're not going to lay down and just chalk the season up. We're not about that. We've never been about that. So we're going to try to finish the season strong with a regular season. And once we go up to A10s, look out for us, because we're actually, we're not just going to go play and come home. That's not what we want to do. That's not what we've been doing. So, yeah.
Jake, it's just great to see that Allison's last statement about the potential A10 upset hold true. Of that win against UMass, she's doing an outstanding job leading the team so far this season. But this takes us to another break. But when we come back, we'll be giving you the upcoming week schedule and everybody's favorite segment, Picks of the Week. So stay tuned.
Oops. Uh-oh. Sorry.
Get on top of it before they do. Every 24 minutes, tipped furniture or a falling TV sends an injured child to the emergency room. Preventing tip-over incidents is easy, inexpensive, and only takes 5 minutes. Learn how to secure your furniture and TVs to protect children at anchorit.gov.
There's plenty of LaSalle sports action this upcoming week, so let us highlight the games ahead for you. LaSalle's track and field teams will see split dual action this week. On February 12th, half of the Explorers will travel to the Fast Track National Qualifier Invite in Staten Island, New York. Other athletes will head to Monmouth University on Saturday the 13th to compete in the Winter Invitational there.
And then swimming and diving will take on the Atlantic 10 Championships on Wednesday the 17th. This is the last event for the swimming and diving season, and we wish the athletes luck for their adventure in Ohio.
Men's basketball will take on St. Joe's on Saturday, February 13th. In their first meeting, the Hawks dominated the court and beat the Explorers 69-48. The game will be broadcast live on Comcast Sportsnet starting at 8 p.m. Then, on Wednesday the 17th, the men will play St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies are 8-3 in the conference.
Then, on Wednesday, February 17th, women's basketball hosts St. Joe's. Now, earlier in the season, the women lost to the Hawks 55-64, but before that, the women head to New York to verse Fordham. Will they be able to keep this kick that they have going on? Now they have a taste of victory? I don't even know. Isaac Perry offers us his analysis in this week's Marquee Matchup.
Hello, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Isaac Perry, returning to tell you about the exciting basketball action coming up this weekend involving the women's team and Fordham. The women's basketball team is looking to put together a win on this long season. They play against Fordham, a team that's been playing great basketball over the last couple weeks, winning 5 out of their last 7 games. LaSalle has all the physical and mental tools to put an end to Fordham's winning ways. This season hasn't gone the way the LaSalle Explorers planned, but that's what makes them most dangerous and have a chance to make some serious noise. When you reach an obstacle, turn it into an opportunity. That's what this upcoming game is. In order to go to Fordham and beat them in their own house, there are 2 women in particular that have to lead the way, Amy Griffin and Micaiah Owens. The secret to success is consistency, and Amy Griffin is the definition of that and more. Last year, she was named Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week for her performance at Dayton, scoring 17 points over UMass and recording 10 double-digit scoring games. This year, she was named Big 5 Player of the Week after her performance in the Hawk Holiday Classic, and she has been playing better than ever, averaging 18 points per game, which is a 10-point increase from the year before. Griffin is going to have the game of her life to help this team get to the promised land. Also, execution. Execution is everything. When I think of execution, Micaiah Owens comes to mind. The sophomore was named Big 5 Player of the Week in 2015 and has been a double-digit scorer her entire career. Just recently, against a tough loss to VCU, Owens scored a career-high 24 points, and she has a total of 428 points scored this season. She is another true leader that the team will look to coming right out of the gate. Now that we touched on some individuals, here's the aspect of play the team needs to accomplish and focus on in order to get that winning streak going and get out of the slump. Number 1, learn from failure. Every failure contains something valuable, and it will point you in the right direction. Each explorer should find something in their game that's not working or they don't do well. They can work on that and stand out. It's all about change. The explorers must reinvent themselves in a way. Go out there, grind, fight through, and learn, and they will be winners. All the action starts this Saturday, February the 13th at Fordham University in the Bronx, New York at 2:00 p.m. For SportsLine, I'm Isaac Perry. Let's go, Explorers.
Thanks, Isaac, for the analysis. Good stuff.
Well, okay, Jake, so real quick. Upcoming game against Fordham, but let's backtrack a little bit. This win for the women's basketball team over VCU. First win in a long time this season, first win in the conference, first win at home of the new year. Do you see that this win, because it is pretty important. I mean, the season hasn't been going very well for them. But do you see this as the turning point, or is it just a little blip on the radar for an otherwise pretty uneventful season?
Well, honestly, like this just kind of brings me back to the conversation with Jasmine Alston. There is kind of like, they have like this, they really are looking for an upset. Like what she was saying is, with so much young talent, you know, they've struggled like just getting their feet underneath them like this entire season. But you know, the A10 is still an open playing field. Like, so what? They're going to be taking on like some sort of like one of the top teams and then head into the championships. But for the most part, though, they're going to have the chance to really prove themselves and really just kind of, you know, upset these teams.
Do you see that? Do you see that they are playing just for pride? That you don't believe that they see the season already being over? I mean, you just mentioned the A10 is wide open. So do you think that they are trying to still play competitively to make it to the A10s in Brooklyn?
I see them trying to overcome St. Joe's, especially taking on Fordham. Seeing how Amy Williams is stepping up right now, same with Micaiah. Like, they're doing just an incredible job, not only motivating the entire team, but just keeping their own personal goals and making sure that, you know what, this isn't just going to be a throwaway season where we were looked down upon the entire time. They're going to make something happen, and yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, and finally, women's lacrosse heads south on Broad Wednesday, February 17th, when they verse Temple in their season opener. And this just so happens to bring us to picks of the week. Oh my gosh, we've been waiting for this all day.
It's my favorite part of the show, Jake.
Oh, so anyway, for my first pick, I'm going Lax versus Temple. We're gonna give you a bit of a preview of what's going on in the season right now too. Right now, right off the bat, I'm calling for a win for LaSalle. Right to start off the season, you can't ask for a better opening than a rival match. Nobody knows exactly what the teams are going to be like. You know, we're predicted as being 5th overall right now.
That is exactly where we ended last year. As Callie earlier, when she was reporting the Exploring Headlines, said, we're projected to be exactly where we were last year out of the 10-team field. And no, that's not good enough for me, man. I'm thinking we can still do this. We have Caitlin Fay and Allie Ilgen-Fritz coming back. I see us, the two of them, just like something clicks, they're going to go. They're just going to be jets all over the field. They're going to be scoring like a bat out of the belfry. It's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. So.
Bat out of Belfield.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how do you see this Temple game going, though?
So I'm going to say, Temple's always a very competitive team. They have a really, really strong up-top scoring. Also, their goalkeepers, I can't remember the exact stats off the top of my head, but really kept things locked down last season. And the thing is, though, that's going to be probably our biggest struggle is, you know, trying to get through the defense when we don't have, like, Caitlin Brustrand and Alana Diffendell, two of the seniors that graduated last year, who they managed to open up the field so well. I honestly kind of see this as, like, the Kelsey Haycock effect, you know, like, which it's terrifying, but I think that with lacrosse, just as high scoring it is as it is, and how many more chances you're kind of given, even though, you know, we're losing like Caitlin Brostrand, who was just always was able to make something happen, you know, scoring 4 goals per game, like on the regular, like that's fantastic. But at the same time, we have a very, very young team, a lot of solid recruits coming in. And, you know, they've been practicing with the team since the fall semester and just getting things together. So I don't know, I'm kind of excited for that.
I'm excited too. I mean, the talent, like you mentioned with the prospects, is obviously there. They just got to find a way to make it gel. I would agree with a win over Temple, and I think that'd be a fantastic way to start. You know, sticking it to the man.
Exactly.
Right off the bat. So, but what's your next pick for the picks of the week there, Jacob?
All right, I'm calling men's basketball versus St. Joe's. You know what? This is really hopeful. I'm calling for a win. You know, we need at least one rival, like upset. You know, we already lost to St. Joe's earlier in the season, and one of the big things is, though, that we've been missing all season is somebody that's playing down low in the post and just making those consistent plays. Yevgen comes back in, comes right off the bat scoring 20 points. Like, you can't ask for anything better than that. And even though we did get blown out in that game, really, he's definitely flexing right now. Like, I want to see, you know, how we're going to, after he's able to do this against taking on Davidson, which is one of the strongest outsizing teams like in the NCAA, you know, it has some potential with him playing at his best. You have Jordan Price really, you know, starting to sink in. Just getting into a rhythm. And even watching how Schuler and Amar Stooks have been playing too recently, we're almost back at full strength.
Do you think, I believe it was CBS did a piece on the best players on teams that aren't performing their best this season, and Jordan Price was one of the players. Do you think that kind of attention would get to the players? Do you think that would have an effect? Not just on this game, but for the rest of the season, real quick.
I don't necessarily see that as like that attention isn't necessarily a positive. Like as soon as like the season started off, and he's scoring 25-something points per game. There was so much pressure put on him in the sense it's like, oh, he's gonna really like hold everything together. But I'm really just hoping that we can kind of turn this around as we go into the A-10 championships. And so finally, I'm calling for women's basketball versus St. Joe's, and I want to on this same sense like. What Jasmine was saying, St. Joe's is one of their biggest rivals. And Jasmine was even saying that back when she was in New York City and playing on AAU teams, she's best friends with some of these players on St. Joe's, but she was describing the matchups, and like they come into these games wanting to really outplay each other, which really is like, it has to be crazy. You've been playing basketball against these kids or even with these guys for the past like 10 years of your life.
Yeah, there's history there.
Yes.
You got to like, you got the score to settle from whenever back when, or you got to make sure that you keep the record going for them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's almost like a blood thing.
Exactly.
I just want to get angry.
And know who I'm seeing getting angry? Seriously, Amy Williams and Micaiah. Both of those guys, or both of those girls. Geez, what am I saying? They are really stepping up, making plays in the paint. You have Micaiah is just like really shooting very, very strongly from outside. So I'm really excited to see how these picks turn out, and we'll see what happens next week.
3 wins. Let's see if we get them all.
And that just about wraps it up for us this week. And if you can't make it out to see the marquee matchup, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. So keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com and by following us on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Callie and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Jake Smolinski.
And I'm Brendan Rigney. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at the game.
Oh, they tried.